Summer Lydick,
Yes.
thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for coming.
Yes, it's lovely to be here in your space. It's exactly what I imagined it would be like.
Oh, nice.
Lots
Good.
of green, lots of color,
Lots of light.
lots of light,
Yes.
sunlight, because that's what I think of when I think of you. In fact, I wanted to tell the story of how I first met you, which was at the first Saturday Art Market.
Yep.
This is 2023. It was my very first market. So shout out to Mitch. Mitch
Yes,
gets all the
Mitch
shout
is
outs on this
wonderful.
show. But he put me right next to you. I don't know if he did that on purpose. But I was super nervous that day. Didn't know what I was doing.
Your very first show ever.
It was my very first.
Oh my gosh.
Well, it was my first like real one. I had done like a little craft market
Okay.
that no one came to.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that was the first one. And I remember like just taking notes from you all day long. I didn't tell you I was doing it, but I was watching you. And because you seemed like you had it all together.
I did, but then I didn't anymore.
Yeah, you knew what you were doing.
I did at that moment, yeah.
But one thing that I really remember from you saying was you had this tagline you said to everybody who came in, and you said, "Color is my superpower."
Yeah, I still use that.
I know, and it's so you.
Thank
It's
you.
such a fitting way to explain yourself and your art. And so tell me, where did that come from? Have you always been a color enthusiast?
Always, yeah. I've always loved color, texture, pattern. My mom is a gardener, and my great-grandmother was a gardener, and they both, and my mom still does. So I grew up following my mom around the garden and following her through the fabric stores.
Oh,
So
cool.
these were like big chunks of pattern and color and texture that I could just play with, but I didn't know what to do with it. I was just there hanging out with my mom. But as she was contemplating fabrics and decisions, I would just get lost in the bolts, and I especially loved, they have big bolts of sequin fabric, and the sequins would fall off. So as a little kid, they're like free shiny shit, you know?
Right.
So I would pick all those up, and that was just a very seminal moment for me growing up. And then being outside, of course, with the sunshine and plants and flowers, I was like, this feels good. This is good.
Yeah.
It's just always been a part of who I am. And then understanding and studying color through college and actually through travels, I learned how light affects color differently. The light in India is very different than the light here. There's a lot of smoke because they're always burning stuff.
Right.
Not many clouds, so there wasn't many like sunrises and sunsets that I ever saw. Like the sun would come up, it would be yellow and orange, and they would go down. We didn't have these epic sunrises and sunsets like we do here. And another pivotal moment in India, I realized I was drawn to the bright colors, still am, but what made them so bright there was that it was surrounded by poverty and a desert and grime and filth and this stuff, which is very heavy. But that there would be this bright red sari that a woman was wearing, or she was carrying a bright turquoise water bowl, and that was like eyeball searing. I don't know, it was just very impactful for me. And so that taught me that bright colors are more impactful when they're surrounded by dull, mushy colors. And I've always tried to incorporate that in my work moving forward so that the colors are uplifting but not overpowering, not overwhelming, and they create moods.
Yeah.
And then I'm also doing that in my home by layering, like I put this fabric on the couch today. I redid the pillows, and that's a quick, easy way for me to play with color, texture, and fabric always.
Yeah.
So by doing all those things all the time, it's still very much a part of my art practice instead of I'm going to the studio to make something. I'm living in this stuff in hopes that the paintings just kind of make themselves
Just come out of
after
you.
that. Yeah.
Right.
But it's been a process
Yeah.
to get there and to understand, oh, this is what I'm doing, and how can I use it more beneficially.
Yeah. Well, you can see it. I mean, to walk in your booth or to see your work wherever it is, I mean, it lifts you up, right? Because
Thank
it's
you.
that color in your face and in a good way, not like
Thank you.
slapping you. It's
Yeah.
more like welcome. That's what
Thank
it says to me,
Well, and another tagline that I like to use is color is the best antidepressant.
Ah, yeah,
Because it shifts your mood instantly, it's free, and there are no side effects.
correct.
And I learned that the hard way. I was depressed for many years, like most of my 20s into my 30s. And I found that if I put on a colorful shirt, I felt better. I didn't know why,
Okay.
but I just felt better. And later on, as I studied color, I've learned that it is evolutionarily designed to be uplifting because and there's a TED Talk about this, that we recognize color in the wild as survival. Like a red berry means, oh, we get to
Food,
eat.
yeah,
And
okay.
so it perks us up.
Ah,
And so then, you can just play off of that. Like the green is very soothing from
Right.
being out in nature. So I started to play into those things too. I don't own any black clothes, but I do have black dogs. So I find black very grounding, but I don't often wear it. I don't ever wear it.
yeah. And well, I've never seen you wear black, and I've never seen like a black and white painting of yours either.
Yeah.
So, well, that's good. I mean, you lean into what you're
Yeah,
about. I mean,
but I think, as a young artist, you don't really know what you're doing or why. But then as you keep going, you're like, oh, there's some patterns. Oh, can I play into that? Oh, can I
Right.
make that work for me? And then that just helps you create and understand the work better. At least it is for me.
yeah. Well, speaking of that, I mean, there's some other things I'll come back to in a minute, but going through your portfolio on your website, which is a
yeah.
great website, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
You have a media kit, which is even
Thank you.
better.
Yes, you saw
It
it.
is
You
so
noticed
good.
it.
Yes, I read it.
Thank you.
Of course,
I
you
worked
want
on that so hard, and then I'm
perfect.
like, I'm sure no one's ever even going to see this ever.
No, I read
I'm
it.
so
I read
glad.
every word.
Thank you.
Also, but what I wanted to say is going through your portfolio, you can see the change over time.
Thank
There was
you.
a time where it seemed like you were obsessed with circles, like
Yes.
circular motion and
Yes.
more abstract, and then it slowly evolved into what you're doing now, which is nature, flowers, a lot
Yeah.
of plants, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I love making that repetitive shape. It was very soothing to me, and they became circles for color. So it's kind of like a color wheel. I could play with different colors next to each other, across from each other in that shape.
Right.
But I found in showing those that people were a little confused. They're like, is this a mandala? Is this a dahlia? Is this, what is it? And so I went more specific by choosing the sunflower because I wanted to appeal to more people. I wanted them to see, like, oh, I recognize that. And then they can make an instant connection to it. And so I started using the sunflower as a color wheel and playing with the different petals by, in color juxtaposition with the different petals. But then some people are like, do you have any real sunflowers? Do you have a sunflower? I'm like, all of these are sunflowers. But they don't always see that. So
Right.
that was the evolution of the mandala series into sunflower series. But now I'm evolving even more into just opening it up to plant shapes because that's ultimately what I love.
Right. What was it about the sunflower specifically that drew you to that?
I used to teach art lessons many years ago, and I'm starting again this year. And I had a sunflower, just like a plastic sunflower plant, and I just stuck it on my drawing table once for our lesson and just had them do a drawing of it. And I was also drawing it. And it turned out really good. It was a blind contour drawing, and I was so surprised how well it turned out. And my mom, who's very influential on me in the course of my career, she's like, you should paint this. And I just thought, oh, that's so dumb. It's a sunflower, and I'm a serious artist, and I'm making serious art.
Yes.
Not a sunflower. So I put it off for many years, and then I just made that distinction through the art festivals with that mandala circular imagery wasn't resonating as much. And so I thought, well, what about the sunflowers? What about that? So I had started it many years ago, but just dismissed it because I just didn't think it was
High art.
valid. Yeah, exactly. But then it was so easy, and it just the work flowed out of me, and then I began to grow the sunflowers so that I could have these living models that I could work with and photograph and sketch to then influence the art. And then it's just branched off into that. And I've become a gardener, like big surprise. That's what I grew up with.
Yeah.
And so my plants are like my pets. And I get to live with them and tend to them and care for them and see how they grow and change and how the light hits them. And then the artwork is inspired by that. Not directly, though. I wish I could say, I'm going to do a series on ferns and sit and sketch my ferns. But I'm finding that I rebel against that kind of structure. And a lot of artists can do that, and I really admire them for that. And I'm a little jealous that they can have a series. Like, I'm going to choose a color palette and a subject matter and stick to that. I cannot.
Yeah.
I cannot.
Is it because you want to go chase the squirrel over here? You want to do something else? Or are you getting bored? Or is it just you just need variety?
I switch into like a masculine taskmaster mode when I put those structures on things, and I don't enjoy the process. And I'm finding when I just flow and free flow and make a bunch of stuff and not worry about is it good or not, is it going to sell or not, like just make it. My job is just make it.
Yes.
And then share it.
Right.
And be like, don't blame me if you don't like it, because it's just my job to make it and then to make the next one. I find that I can keep working as an artist if I can shift to that mode and let the studio be play and not structured, gonna do this. And I found that if I can do that, then I have like 7 different things. And then so I create maybe for 6 months, and then I look back at those 6 months. I'm like, oh, these 3 things go together.
Right.
These 5 things go together.
Right.
So that's a new process I'm trying, and so far it's working.
Good. Well, you can tell.
The other process just wasn't working anymore.
Yeah. Well, you can tell that, at least when I walk into your booth, when I see your work, it tells me that there's fun being had. Like there's freedom there. It doesn't look like very meticulous, like thinking through this very orderly speaking. And I say that in a good way. I don't mean bad. There's something very freeing to that. I had an artist I talked to not long ago, Melanie Wade Leslie. She said that one professor gave her permission to make bad art.
Yeah, that's important. Yeah.
Huge, right? Because you get hung up on, is this good? Is anyone going to like it? Is it going to sell? Especially when you're becoming
I know that was
into the
big,
sales. Yeah. So you kind of have to let that go. You can tell if someone's making something just to sell it. I don't know what it is. There's some weird.
And I've met those people, and they're kicking butt, and they're selling really good work. But then they also feel trapped in that specific genre.
Right.
Or, I don't know, sometimes I've tried to get to know the artist, and I'm like, how does this work connect to their life? It's just a product that they're making. And that is successful, but for me, I am drawn to artwork that's more personal. It's about the artist's life, and then I'm buying a piece of their personality, a piece of their life, and it's like this living organism.
Right.
And that's what I'm looking for in my that. I want my art to have its own life, and then the art that I collect, I'm looking for the same thing.
Yeah, I like that. It's you feel more connected to it if you know that it's coming from someplace that's freer. I don't know, at least for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I wanted to go back a little bit. You talked about being in India. What took you to India? And that juxtaposition, I'd never thought of it that way before. Like you see the saris, you see the artwork, you see the temples, you see Hinduism in general, the whole religion. Like it's very colorful.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so much
reality
poverty.
is so stark and sad. I think so. From my American point of view, they look like they're just surviving, and their rituals from sun up to sundown and different caste systems still have different things they have to do. And yet, I just found it so shocking that they have all these rituals and everything is so sacred, but life itself is so cheap. I mean, I would see babies in the street and dogs and these cows, you know, starving. Everyone was starving and struggling and awful, but yet they have these beautiful bright colors.
Yeah.
So it was a shock on all the senses, but artistically, I was like, how can I take this and make it wonderful? But to your question, I've always been fascinated with yoga and like the Mindi henna stuff, the architecture over there, the colors, the textures, the patterns. So for my 40th birthday, I did supposed to be a 40-day trip, but with travel both sides, coming and going. It was 45 days. And I'm glad I did it. I don't think I'll ever do it again. It was just so, too much contrast. It was too intense. It was an assault on all the senses, good, bad, everything in between at all times.
It's jarring, right?
Yeah, that's a good word.
I lived in China for several years, so
Really?
it
Oh,
was
wow.
similar. Yeah, it's
well,
so
you know.
different.
Yeah.
So different. I mean, and there's good, there's bad, there's pluses, minuses, just like anything else.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
it's intense.
What brought you to live there?
Oh, well, I was in school. I was studying Chinese.
What?
Back in the day. Yeah, that'll be a whole nother
I know.
conversation.
We'll have to pause.
I'll tell you about that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, okay, you talked about, you mentioned growing up around plants and around nature, gardening, that sort of thing. When did you first pick up a paintbrush?
Oh, when I was 2 years old.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, since early on. I even have portraits of my parents that I did when I was 2. And
Wow.
it's a tiny little head and long legs. Because from my 2-year-old perspective, that's all I could see. And I did a self-portrait, and it was just this huge, giant head with tiny little legs and little arms.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've always been an artist. I was interested in dance also. And so when I got to college, I tried out for the art scholarship and the dance scholarship. I got the art one. So I was an art major, dance minor, hurt my knees. So that was the end of dance. And I'm like, okay, cool. I guess I'll just focus 100% on art. And I remember going to college feeling frustrated that none of my professors were actively selling their artwork. And I was always asking questions, but how do you do this? How do you do that? And I decided to get my master's degree in the hopes that they would teach me how to be a professional artist.
That's not what they do.
They didn't know. They still didn't know.
That's not what they do in school. No.
And I remember cornering one of the professors and asking, where is this professional practices course where we learn how to write a resume, learn how to talk to a gallery? And he's like, oh, we don't offer that anymore because no one will sign up for it. And I just thought, it should be required. I mean, you're putting out graduates with no training whatsoever on how to be a professional in the world.
No business skills, no sales, none of that. No.
And the statistics are that only 5% of art graduates in 5 years are still actively making art. 5%.
Wow.
3%
That's not
actually do it professionally. 3%. So what is the other 97% of people that have an art degree and all the debt? What are they doing with their lives?
What's the point?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I went and taught at that school for a little bit, and I got pissed at the students because they would show up to class sometimes, not have their homework done, and I'm like, what are y'all doing? Why are you here? Because you're spending someone's money. This is the only time you will really have to make art. Because when you get married or have kids or get a job, game over.
Right.
And they didn't get that because they're young and 19, and who gets anything when you're 19? But I just knew I wanted to do it. I wanted to be a professional artist. And I vowed then and there, I still remember where I was and the professor I was talking to, and I'm like, I'm going to learn it. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to teach it.
Amen.
And so when I was teaching, I ultimately quit, and I told them, I was like, this is my last teaching day because I'm lying to y'all. I still don't know how to be a professional artist, and that's my biggest goal. So I'm going to do it. And the professors that I was working with, they thought I was crazy, and it's been hard. It's been so hard, but I had to live my truth. And I feel that now I'm about to start teaching again. I am better for it because I've been out there on the streets selling art in the dirty, dirty streets.
You've been doing it.
I've been doing it, yeah. And it's been really challenging, but I have to remember, like, but this is what I wanted.
Right.
I didn't know how hard it would be.
I think that's the case for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And when people get into it, they realize, myself included, how much harder it is than on surface level. I'm excited that you're teaching because you know, full disclosure, like you mentored me. You helped me a lot. I remember you reached out.
Because I thought then I know what I was doing.
Yeah. Well, you knew more than I knew. Like after, I don't know if I looked like I was clueless or what, but.
You just knew. I was like, oh, I can help you.
Yeah, and you did, and that was awesome.
Thank you.
I'm very appreciative of that because I felt like I took notes, I got a good crash course on like what to expect. Because there's I didn't know the scene, first of all.
Yeah.
That was my first time at the Houston First Saturday Art Market. I didn't know anybody, didn't know any of the artists. The ones who I knew in the Woodlands and Conroe where I am weren't really doing it full time. It was just kind of a side thing that they would try to do every once in a while, and no one seemed to be eager to like help me
Share
or give me any information.
Okay.
And you
Well,
were,
they maybe didn't know.
or maybe they didn't know, or maybe they wanted to hog it all for themselves. I don't know what it was, but you were very open. Hey, yeah, give me a call, whatever, we'll talk. And you did, and that was very helpful. And I think a lot of people don't realize the grind that it is. It's really, you know, there's a lot of physical labor involved.
Yeah.
There's a lot. You have to be the designer. You have to be the salesperson. You have to be
Everything.
the tax person. You have to do.
Yeah, everything. And I look forward to the physical part. I mean, I have to because this is what I'm doing. So I'm like, okay, this is my workout for the day. But it works great when it works. When you're selling, it's wonderful. And it's the best type of validation ever. Like, it's all aligned. But when you're not selling, it is so soul crushing.
It's soul crushing.
So, but the hardest part for me has been to see some artist peers continually do well. And some of them, because of their skill set, they don't start at the bottom floor and have to go up. They start out at the top shows and they only go up from there, or they stay at the top shows. Whereas people like you and me, we can't even get into the B-level shows.
Yeah.
And so that's very humbling. And I think it's, you know, they say it gives you character. I think I'm better at sales than a lot of these other people.
I think you're really good at sales. I've heard you. Yeah, I've paid attention.
Thank you. I've had to be, and I don't think that's true for some of those award-winning artists that go to these shows. And we're talking about art festivals.
Yeah, big ones, yeah.
Cherry Creek in Denver is one. Fort Worth Main Street is one. Coconut Grove in Florida. And I know some artists, their very first show was Cherry Creek.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And so they don't know anything else.
Yeah.
And that's hard.
That's
it's hard
yeah.
to know them and to like them. And also, I have to find my lane. In my lane, I can't get into the top shows. I'll keep trying, but you could get in, and then it rains out.
Right.
So I'm also really great at teaching. So I can add that to my schedule. I'm killer at faux finishes. I did all this plaster.
Right, okay.
I've been doing that for 15 years. That was my business in Beaumont, where I'm from, before I moved here to Houston. So when I moved to Houston, I'm like full-time artist. But now I can't live on the road doing all those things. So
Yet.
I don't think I want to.
Oh, you don't want
because
to?
I
Okay.
love my garden.
Okay.
I can't be away from my garden. I can't be away from my family.
Okay.
I just can't.
I didn't know if that was something because I know you did the trip last year. We can talk about that in a minute, but
Yeah.
continue. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm finding that my lane looks like this, which is a more diversified path, which as a gardener, of course, I don't need to be monocropping because it could fail. Your
Right.
one shot could fail. So
Right.
diversify.
Right. It seems like now I looked at your schedule. You're staying in like Southeast
More
Texas,
local, yeah.
Louisiana,
Yeah, Gulf
Alabama,
Coast.
Gulf Coast.
I don't know that I'll go to Florida again. It's wonderful, but it's just another art festival in beautiful weather, you know. And just within the art festival, it's a gamble. You can either hit big or go broke.
And you did the January, February circuit, right? You went to a bunch of shows. Did you live out of your van?
I did
How did you...
and I did 6 shows last year, different Airbnbs. I was lucky in that I knew 2 women that let me stay there for free in 2 different places, so that helped a lot.
Yeah.
But there is an art show almost every weekend somewhere in Florida, in multiple cities in Florida, from October to May.
Wow.
There's a ton.
Yeah.
So Florida artists do really well. They can just bop around, you know, and then they take off May through September, which is the super hot time, and all the tourists leave.
Right.
And then they can be in their studios and make art. And they can do it full time. I couldn't because my family is here. I want to be here. So I could only go over there for a time. And then the Texas season starts. So you just have to find how it works for you. The biggest thing is, and I always tell this to artists, like, just don't give up. Don't give up making your work.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, the biggest thing. And then for me, I also learned, like, I stopped caring about being in certain shows because I wasn't getting in anyway. It didn't do me any good to be all bent out of shape
It's
about
hard,
it.
yeah.
What I've found is just to be positive, be happy for everybody. I mean, I want everybody to do well. I want artists in general to do well. And I think you're right. Find your lane. Like, find what you're really good at and where you're best at selling and go with that.
Yeah.
Right? Do your thing.
I have a friend on the circuit. He's a phenomenal painter, like photorealism. And he confided to me that he would love to be at the level of Kehinde Wiley. Are you familiar with him?
Yep.
Who is only doing museum shows now.
Right.
He's only showing his new work at museums. And so, and this friend of mine wins like the top award at every festival he does. And he does very well financially. And I pulled him aside a few months ago. I'm like, hey, how's that Kehinde Wiley dream? I mean, when are you going to get into museums and kick it up a notch? And he's like, I've decided I like being this big fish in the little pond.
Amen.
So he found his lane.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's another thing. Like, the museum artist and the festival artist, it's a different thing, right? It's a different life.
Oh, and what he told me too, he's that Kehinde has a staff of over 100 painters in China doing most of his backgrounds.
Yeah.
I was like, psh.
Yeah.
That was mind blowing.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh wow, yeah.
That helps.
Yeah, but also, that's a level of division and separation that he has from his own artwork.
Yeah.
I mean, then he can go after really ambitious, huge canvases and projects, but then you're just a supervisor, and you're not physically painting as much.
Yeah. I think that's what happens when you get really, really big.
Yeah, like Jeff Koons, same thing.
Yep.
Tons of people. Yep. Andy Warhol. A more contemporary person, Ashley Longshore, who I really adore her career path. I've met her a couple times. She is our modern day pop artist. She has anywhere from 16 to 30 people working on her stuff.
Wow.
And she's like, you just have to define your level of success. It's different for everyone.
Right.
And I'm like, well, I want to be where you are, living in New York, you know, making over $1 million on the Forbes list.
Yeah, no big thing.
And she's self-taught. But then when I really look at her lifestyle, it would kill me. There's no way I could do that. I don't have her level of energy. So it's like, okay, who am I? What is my style? Instead of seeing all these people that are doing well and being successful, and what can I learn from them? Like, who am I? And what is my unique thing that I contribute? Regardless if it sells, regardless if it's successful, what is the one thing that I I am, who I am, what I can do.
Right.
And so this last year for me personally has been about getting off the road and figuring out what the hell am I trying to make? And then being happy with it. So the latest incarnation of my booth, before it was black walls, really bright, colorful paintings. I would wear things like this, and my booth presence was very performative. I was all about color. And it stopped selling. It worked for a while, but it stopped selling. And people would often say to me, "Oh, I bet your house is so colorful." And I'm like, "It's really not." And I realized I never lived with those paintings in my home, ever.
Okay.
And then I thought, okay, if I'm not living with them, then how the heck am I supposed to sell them to other people to live with them?
Right.
So now I'm trying to really understand, what am I about? What is my artwork about? And live with it. And
Like these
yeah,
us here.
these, yeah. And then to put that out there in a way that's authentic. So now my booth is like a cream color. A lot of the work is framed paper. And the booth is set up more like a boutique.
Yeah, I got that vibe. And I remember in the beginning, the first time I met you, you had the pink
Oh, yeah,
walls.
the pink
Remember
walls.
you had the pink walls?
Yes,
That
because
a
I
big
was like,
deal?
hey, look at
Boom!
me.
Yeah.
You want color? I'm over
Yeah.
here. And a lot of artists were like, wow, you are bold. And then other people were like, this really does not work for you because no one can see the artwork. The walls and the artwork are competing. And I thought, but I want people to notice me. And they're like, well, you are too loud. And so then I changed the walls to black, which was, it toned it down a bit. But it was still a contrast. It was still bold. And I don't really know who those people are that would be attracted to such bold work. That's Ashley Longshore. That's what her shtick is.
You got to find your own thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well,
And
I like what it is now. You said boutique style. Yeah, it's the paintings do stand out because you have a more muted background.
Yeah.
It's not all in your face.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's okay. You can still be in people's face if you want to.
I can't. I notice though sometimes, you know,
Yeah.
you just kind of get tired of talking to people all the time. I talk to everyone who comes into my booth, every single person, because I feel like you're walking into my home. The least I can say is acknowledge you. That's the least I can do. Like,
Right.
I'm here for you. And so many artists don't say that. Sometimes I'll just get tired of dealing with people, you know, and they'll say something stupid and I call them on it and I'm like, oh, I should have said that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Well, people do say crazy things. And I think people are mostly unaware. I've had this
They are.
conversation
You're right.
with most folks. Most people are not thinking about you at all. They're thinking
Yeah.
about themselves and a million things going on in their heads and their problems. And it's nothing
Yeah.
personal.
Yeah, and usually when someone comes into the booth and says something, you know, stupid, it's just like a pickup line. They're just trying to connect in some way. So
Yeah.
anything someone says, I just try to, even if they're completely wrong, I just say yes and blah, 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 blah.
There you
Like
go.
something simple is this watercolor? It's not. It's
No.
acrylic.
Yeah.
But I just say, yes, I can see how it looks like watercolor. It's
Right.
actually acrylic. Instead of saying, no, it's acrylic,
right.
dum-dum.
Did you ever do improv?
No.
Back in the day? Okay,
No.
that's an improv rule. You
Oh,
always
cool.
agree with whoever's in the scene with you. Yes,
Oh.
and you always
Oh,
add
okay.
to it.
Okay.
So because the worst improv scene is when people just negate each other.
Yeah.
So you got to agree with them, and that's a good way to interact with people, because people
Yeah.
respond to you being positive to them much better than being, no.
And in that, it's taken me years to figure out what to say in the booth. And I'm learning that I'm facilitating this space. I'm holding the space. And it's my job to welcome everyone who walks in and how can I serve them? So whatever energy they present, how can I flow with it and connect it to the work in some way if it's possible?
Right.
It might not be my work. It might be yours. They might actually be looking for something that you would be better at.
Yeah.
They might not know what they're looking for, but I'm just available, and how can I help? And I've learned a lot to just, can I help direct them to what they're looking for?
Right. Yeah, and especially at a market or a festival, you got all these other artists there.
Yeah.
Like, can you do a landscape? No. But here, talk to this person.
Yeah.
I used to be like, yes, of course. I used to take everything, and then I hated it. And then, so I don't do that anymore. But
yeah, so I'm learning like how that's as my job. I make the work and put it out there. And then the next job in putting it out there, can I help people recognize themselves in it? Can I help them connect?
right.
And, you know, a lot of times I can't, because it's just a numbers game, and people don't know what they're looking for, or they're just out bopping around. But sometimes it does work, and it's like, oh, cool.
And if they're looking for positivity and brightness,
Come on in.
Yeah, then they found the right spot.
That's right.
They
Yeah.
found you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you've done so many cool things. So again, reading through your media kit and going through your website, you've done a lot of cool stuff. One I wanted to ask you about real quick was the pop-up show you did for the Elizabeth Gilbert book. Isn't that her name?
Yeah.
The Big Magic book.
You know, that's
You recommended that book to me back in the
Yeah.
day, and I remember
Yeah.
reading it, and then I never had a conversation with you about it. But now,
So
when
you
I
did
read
read
that,
it.
yes, but when I read that bit, I was like, wait, you did a pop-up show for her?
Yeah.
That's cool. Like,
Yeah.
what was that?
So I am a huge fan of Elizabeth Gilbert, specifically from Eat, Pray, Love. She put that book out
Okay.
at a time when I was very hungry for travel stories, independent women traveling. And so I just gobbled that book up. It was so great. And started reading all her books since then. She comes out with Big Magic, which is living a creative life beyond fear.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the main thing.
And I gobbled up that book, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is the best book on creativity that I've ever read, about staying in the flow of creativity regardless of whether it's successful, rejected, whatever. It's just for you. And here are all the pitfalls that could happen, and here's the successes that could happen. So I got this big idea, because I was always looking for ways to market myself, that I looked up where she would be doing a book tour. Miami was the closest to me at the time, and that was still, I was in Houston and Miami, so that was like 20 hours. I found out a bookstore near, she was going to be giving a talk at a big hall. The bookstore had sponsored this big talk at the hall. So I contacted the bookstore, and I tried to contact her, but she had everything blocked. So I was just trying to get her attention via social media, and the bookstore saying we should set up some sort of art fair in celebration around this talk and her coming, and showing artists living proof of them making it work, living a creative life beyond fear. They kept shooting me down. So a guy I was dating at the time, he's like, let's just do a rap. And he was really good at just creating a rap on the fly. So he set up a camera, and he just started rapping, and I had some artwork, and he's like, just give us your Elizabeth Gilbert rap. And I was like, I don't know what to say. So he did. He's like, we're going to come to Miami, and we're going to do this. And the whole time I was dancing. It was before social media is what it is now.
Right. Before TikTok.
Yes. And so he's like, let's just email it to the bookstore, see what happens. That was on a Thursday. They emailed me Friday and said, okay, come on. We'll do it. Her talk was on Saturday.
Wow.
So we threw a bunch of paintings in the car. I strapped an easel to the top of my car, and we drove straight over there to this bookstore, and they let me set up my artwork in the bookstore, and I didn't know about presentation or business cards or any of that stuff. I was just a girl in a dream. And they said, okay, now go across the street to the hall. I'm like, why? And they're like, well, we have something else happening. They had some other women's group that was going to present something, other artists and creatives, And they were going to speak before Elizabeth Gilbert came on stage. And they said, go ahead. Since you're here, you drove, we want you to present too. This was all a surprise to me. Mm-hmm. And so I was in the green room with all these other women, and then they put us backstage, and they're like, who goes first? And I'm like, me, God damn it, because I drove 20 hours, and I've been working on this. So we all walked across the stage. They gave us a microphone, and this is a huge hall there, and it was packed. There was like, I don't know, many thousand people. And we had to say, what do we think about a creative life beyond fear? I don't remember what I said. But I spoke first, and it was clear that I was the only person in that line of women that had read the book. Nobody had even read the book.
Oh.
So then everyone spoke. She came down the line, shook everyone's hand, and then she came to me and she gave me the big hug. She's like, I know you from social media. I got all your stuff. So, I was just on cloud 9 from that. So I got to meet her that way.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It was cool.
Without fear. Right?
Yeah.
Speaking of fear.
I know.
Sounds like
She's our doorbell.
Okay, so before we go, we got to go through the rapid fire questions. And I'm going to go real quick.
Okay.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Bright pink or bright yellow?
Pink.
Beer, wine, shots, or no thanks?
Wine.
Okay. Big or small?
Small.
Stone in your shoe or an itch you can't scratch?
Stone in my shoe.
All right. Museum quality or street level energy?
Oh, street level energy.
I can see that. Morning fog or evening fire?
Morning fog.
Okay. Trust your eye or trust your gut?
I guess.
Eye. Right on. Okay. Concept driven or process driven?
Process.
Movie theater or Netflix?
Netflix.
Okay. And the last one, art that whispers or art that shouts?
Whispers now.
Oh,
I think
okay.
so, yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's a surprise.
Yeah.
All right.
And I've even noticed in how I dress, like my earrings are getting smaller. Yeah, because I used to have like huge earrings. So, yeah, now I'm just really drawn more to intimate, smaller experiences.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Summer, thank you again for inviting me to your home and for sharing your story with us. A lot more I'd like to hear. So one of these days we'll do this again.
Nice.
But in the meantime, I want to let everybody know how they can find you. They can see your artwork in person by going to the First Saturday Arts Market.
Yeah, I'll
Houston.
be there every month this spring. They do one every month for Saturday until May. May is the last one, and then it's too blasting hot to get outside.
Right.
So I'll be there April and May.
Right on. And then back in the fall,
Yeah.
we'll see where we are. Okay.
Yeah, most likely.
And then what's your touring schedule? I know that you have the Bayou City at the end of March.
Yeah, I'm doing that one. Hopefully the Woodlands, South Lake, which is up near Dallas. I think, maybe Rockport. That's in July. That's about all I've gotten right now.
Okay.
And then the fall will start again in like October, November.
Right on. And you're really good about letting people know where you're going to be.
Thanks.
So if you go to her Instagram, which is summerlydick.art, put that up here, or your Facebook page at Summer Lydick, or your website, summerlydick.com, they can find all your information and follow you.
Yes.
Right on. Get a little blast of color.
That's right.
Live a little.
Some
All right.
uplifting plant power.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you very much, Summer.
Thank
Do it again
you.
sometime.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, peace.